Hello and welcome our dear viewers to a new edition of Windows. I am Basma Taha. Huge efforts are exerted by the state in order to flourish the tourism sector, and also many initiatives are carried out by the Ministry of Tourism in order also to flourish tourism. Indeed, Egypt entails many beautiful tourist destinations that dazzled and still dazzling the entire world. Also, the state is offering investors many facilities in order also to flourish tourism, and also in order to increase the state revenues, and also in order to achieve sustainable development. To shed more light on this issue, I'm honored to have here in the studio Mr. Ziad Ali, tourism marketing expert. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on Nile TV International.
Thank you, Ms. Basma, for having me. Thank you so much. It's an honor for me.
Thank you so much. First, why is Egypt a significant tourist destination?
We have a unique product. I hate to sound very proud, although we should all be very proud, but the Egyptian product, as we like to say or to call it, it's a unique one. No other country in the world have a complete product like this one, be it culture tourism, beach vacations, religious tourism, agriculture, culinary, all kinds of tourism except for skiing on the ice, and I doubt that any foreigner would be interested in coming for ski, especially in our sunny, warm winters. So we have a full product, better if compared with most of the countries of the world. It's much better. That makes us very special in that sense.
Okay, and what are the most important places, tourist destinations for the winter tourism?
Well, for winter tourism, one of the very important factors to consider that our winter is considered very warm for lots of nationalities. That sometimes they can really enjoy even our beaches in January or in February. But mostly, if we go to the classical ones, is how to enjoy Upper Egypt, especially Upper Egypt, Luxor, Aswan, Abu Simbel for that matter. The weather is very good. It's mid-20s when it's -15 and windy and rainy for the whole season in Europe and in most of Central and North America. It's very warm, so especially Upper Egypt.
Well, it's winter time here, so we need to learn more about the preparation of that sector for that high season.
Usually now, because it's like the machine is ready, as we say, everything is in place. We're starting to have more reservations. We have suffered a little bit, of course, some of the cancellations and the delays in the requests of new requests, of course, due to the incidents taking place at the whole region for the past year and couple of months. However, there is a certain sense of optimism worldwide that the whole dilemma and the whole crisis is about to end, and we are noticing increasing requests and reservations. Everybody is ready. Hospitality segment of the industry, hotels, restaurants, our national carrier as well. Everybody is waiting and quite ready for the moment when it really starts to show up. The reservations start to come, and we slightly and calmly go back to our natural numbers in this time of the year.
Well, also, how do you see the significance of media in attracting tourists?
It is very significant, and it's what's even more significant is identifying the right sort of media, because right now you have a whole generation of travelers that does not watch TV, for an example. Even when they go online, they do not watch longer videos, anything longer than 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, sometimes even shorter. So we need to address a new age group of travelers, the new trends, by the same means and using the same tools
in order to
reach
attract
them. Yes,
them.
video reels, shorter ones, social media, a lot of social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have to be really involved in this as the private sector dealing in tourism, or even the state should be a little bit more interested in this venue as well.
Social media, of course.
Yes.
How would Egypt's participation in the different exhibitions worldwide help in boosting tourism?
It is very, very important, because sometimes the whole world knows Egypt, but they have so many questions. We should not allow different answers or the wrong answers to reach our audience, to reach the people who are asking the questions. And this is our role in different trade shows, in exhibitions, that we are there, we're ready with our presentations, we're ready as salespeople promoting the destination, the whole destination. I mean, when I go and present, I do not go and only represent my company. I am representing the whole country as an ambassador for this country and for my company as well. So I think there is a very good role played by the state as in the Ministry of Tourism, the Tourism Authority, in attending all the trade shows worldwide, year-round, representing our culture and our potential in the travel industry.
Well, also, sir, how do you see the efforts exerted by the state in order to develop tourism sector, and also the development that were carried out in the infrastructure?
I think we're in a much better place compared to earlier times. If I look to the quality of the roads, for an example, if you compare it now compared to 15 years ago, it is much better. It's much better, offering much better coverage to the region, or sorry, to the destination. We still have a big room for improvement. There was a big project that took place right before the COP in Sharm el-Sheikh, and it was reassigning or checking the quality of the hotels, making sure that if they are labeled 5 stars, that they really fit the 5 stars caliber, or decreasing that to a 4 stars and checking them. And I think this is a very important project that should be ongoing, not only related to a mega event like the COP, that we should keep on evaluating the quality presented in our hotels, in our food and beverage industry, in our transportation, so everybody know his place in the equation, and keep their heads up, doing a great job.
Well, also, sir, how do you see, or how do you evaluate the efforts or the incentives by the state in order to encourage the private sector?
Well, if you ask me now, representing a private sector company mainly, the way I see it, we always wish for more contribution from the state, more regular or scheduled meetings with the state, represented at the ministry and at the authority, of course, which is happening and taking place all the time, but there is always a place for more to happen. Recognizing the best achievers is always good, that companies, travel agencies, or destination management companies, as they're technically called, are being evaluated by international bodies. So I think it is about time that us here in Egypt, the state itself, would recognize and celebrate the successes of local DMCs or local travel agents who are achieving beyond just the regular things of bringing a tourist here and giving him a tour and then sending him back home. If you present excellence, if you serve with dedication, this should be recognized by the country, and I think it should be as well celebrated by the state.
Okay, Mr. Ziad, how do you see also the efforts exerted by the state in order to preserve the cultural heritage?
It's very important. We see lots of signs of this happening at the Giza Plateau and in other monumental sites in Upper Egypt. But there is a very important aspect, or a very important equation, that we should be looking for. When you have more tourists, they make more money, you make more money, and when you make more money, you have more funds to restore monuments and to the existing ones and new ones, especially the new excavations like the ones taking place or happening in the whole Sahara necropolis. So it's a virtuous circle. A lot is done, and again, there is a huge room for improvement. We can do much more in that sense.
Well, also, I would like to ask you, what role do the international collaboration do in reflecting or promoting Egypt as a global tourist destination?
Well, you can have 2 levels of that. One of them is the international private sector bodies, like all the organizations with travel agents or destination management companies. Of Of course, it's a mutual benefit that someone sends their nationals or their tourists and we receive them, so it's money for both sides. But
win-win situation.
yes, but then again, you do not expect your competitors to work to your benefit. That now we are a great competition to some of the world's biggest destinations touristically. So I do not expect them really to support us. It's on our shoulder. The whole task is on our backs and our shoulders. So we should be really aware of this fact. Do not expect much internationally, because some destinations, any tourist that would come to you is taken from them. So I think it's a very challenging world over there.
Well, also, Mr. Ziad, how do you see the importance of the Egyptian antiquities, and also how could we make good use of them in order to show the potentials in the country?
One of the very good things that happened lately is not stacking our unique masterpieces in one museum. Now, we have the royal mummies at the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. Of course, we have the gym, the Grand Egyptian Museum, with the whole collection of Tutankhamun and the solar boats. And we will have very good advancements at the older Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square. Having this distribution around the city is very good, because it would mean that I can show more, because we used to have maybe 2/3 of our antiquities at storage, because we do not have enough space to show them all. Now, with the new museums, not only in Cairo, actually, there have been great advancements at the, for instance, Sharm el-Sheikh Museum. For a city known only for beach holidays, they have now a very good museum which gives a beach traveler a chance as well to go and see our antiquities and our history, take a good glimpse of our history. So I think a lot is being done in that sense, yes.
Okay, I will take from you words, and I want to ask about the Grand Egyptian Museum. How do you see, or to what extent do you believe that it will help in promoting tourism, especially that it is expected to receive millions of visitors annually?
It's great. This is the only thing I can say, because I've been there when there was nothing. I've witnessed the opening of the Grand Staircase, and the first time to see the Grand Staircase, I was amazed. I was there when we opened 12 galleries out of 15 and took the whole tour. It's not only that, but the kind of culture activities taking place. Now, we have a great venue. Not only great in the archaeological sense or the architectural sense, but also it's a great venue for culture events. Treasure hunts are being prepared over there. Craftsman workshops are being held over there. Events, concerts, art exhibitions, schools for kids. The children museum, which is part of the museum, is an amazing part dedicated to younger foreigners or younger visitors, where their parents can leave them there and they have a great exposure to our culture with great guidance of professionals. So finally, it's all what I can say, that we have a place that really fits our level, and this is the least. We should have had that ages ago, and thankfully we have it now. I think it's going to be a great attraction. We are receiving hundreds of requests and questions, and people, they want to know anything about it by sending them videos, newsletters. So we are expecting a good year ahead, 2025, inshallah, hopefully.
Yes, inshallah, sir. Also, how significant is tourism for the economies of the countries in general, and for Egypt in particular?
It's always very good for economy. I mean, because it's a very direct source for money in the pocket of the citizens of the country. It's not the huge complicated equations of economy that in billions of either US dollars or Egyptian pounds, but it's money in your pocket directly. When someone goes for a restaurant and he leaves a tip for the service people, this is directly in their pocket. When he rides a taxi, this is money in the pocket. For Egypt, I do believe that this should be our national project #1, Really, if I had a say, I would have made it the first priority before anything, and I would have directed all the efforts of the state towards reaching this goal and achieving it. Tourism should be Egypt's priority for the coming 10 years at least, because I do not really accept the fact that some neighboring countries, with all the respect of course, and no names are being mentioned here, that they have bigger traffic every year than Egypt. We are the best in that field. This one thing I know for sure. So we need to work on that, and this project, that the Egyptian tourism project, should be a priority for the state.
Well, also, sir, how do you see the significance of the transportation network and also the importance of establishing new tourism projects?
Transportation is one of the key elements of the industry, and as we mentioned earlier, having newer roads, better roads, safer roads is very important, and we can feel the difference as professionals, that how much time it used to take for a tourist coming from a downtown hotel reaching the pyramids area, or going to Alexandria for an overday, going from Hurghada as an example to Luxor. This used to take a lot of time in bad roads. Now it is much better. Another part of the transportation aspect is what kind of vehicles we have and we use, and we have witnessed a good advancement in that now. All travel agents, of course, as you know, are allowed to import cars for tourism without paying any customs for them, of course. We need much more. The infrastructure, as in hotels and hotel rooms and cultural spots, as well as any other asset we add to the industry, is proven very beneficial. Now, if we have, I can tell you, one double or triple the amount of Nile cruises we have right now, once hopefully inshallah the season comes back strong and full, they will all be occupied. Even double or triple the amount of Nile cruises. Same goes for cars, same goes for restaurants and cafes. So yes, we're doing good, but we can do even better.
Well, also, sir, the state is indeed offering many facilities and incentives to investors, and also is working hard to overcome all the challenges facing them. So how do you see the significance of that in promoting tourism in the country?
If we start from the grounds of understanding how important the industry is for the country, which I do believe the state share the same understanding, more investments internationally and domestically, like encouraging other Egyptian businessmen to do that, and encouraging investors from other countries is always beneficial and good.
Well, sir, allow us to go to a short break, and we will be back. Short break, dear viewers, and then we will be back.
Thank you.
Welcome back, our dear viewers, and still with Mr. Ziad Ali. Mr. Ziad, what are the challenges facing the tourism sector?
We have internal challenges, and a good part of that is cultural, which is very important, that we need to, I won't say change, but to adapt our culture to accept cultural changes from tourists coming from other countries. Respecting for the tourists to come, of course they have to respect our culture, but then again we have to respect their cultures back. So it's one good thing. There is a understanding that there is a good difference between being kind, hospitable and generous, and maybe being over clingy, that you do not have to have any physical contact, as in our Egyptian way, putting your hands on someone's shoulders or arms. It's not accepted in most of the cultures. We do it with a good common sense, but it's not accepted. This is one thing. One of the challenges is increasing the quality of food and beverage. We really had an issue with that, and I think there is a very important role for the state, that maybe there should be a very ambitious project of maybe excluding components going in the food and beverage industry from being subjected to customs, as an example. Good quality dairy products, meats, poultry, or any food item that we do not have a good equivalent here in Egypt, that we allow suppliers to get it from overseas so we can present the best quality. We need to understand one of the challenges, which is quite internally, we need to understand that we are not in a race of who is providing cheaper prices, because there's a huge difference between a good rate and a cheap rate. If you pay cheap money, you get cheap service, you get cheap quality in everything, and this is one thing that sometimes, especially at the times of crisis, with harsh competition, some of our travel or tourism businessmen do not really understand. They go nose diving with the prices and hence the quality of everything. Of course,
it's a matter of quality, not quantity.
Definitely. And we have other challenges that are international. We live in a very turbulent region. So so much we can do, but when there is a big event like what is happening around us, we do not expect to be unaffected. Of course we have to be a little bit affected, but that did not stop us, or the state for that matter, from trying. We still go on exhibitions and trade shows, we still promote, we have to teach the travelers. Some of them, when there was some turbulence in Sudan, for an example, and they are having a Nile cruise between Luxor and Aswan, I've received that questions from travelers, Americans and British, asking, is it safe to be in Aswan with the civil war in Sudan? And you convince them that it's hundreds of miles away and nothing will happen to them. So yes, so many challenges.
Well, also, Dr. Ziad, in your point of view, what kind of investments needed in order to revive tourism and to promote tourism?
I do believe we need much more 3- and 4-star hotels. We have an inverted pyramid, as they say, because usually worldwide the majority of hotel rooms are 3 and 4 stars, even up to 2 Airbnbs and bed and breakfast, small motels. This accommodates a huge part of the tourism. So we need more 3 and 4-star hotels. We need more touristic restaurants and cafes in lots of spaces. Like if you are a tourist and you're walking in downtown Cairo, most of the shops you would see are clothes or shoes. No, instead of that, we need, especially in that area, much more restaurants and cafes. Now, the majority of our restaurants and fancy ones especially are in the suburbs of Cairo, far east to the New Cairo or far south to Sheikh Zayed district. We need much more in the city. Same goes, by the way, for
tourist
cities.
services.
Yes, in Minya, you have great monuments in Minya, in Asyut. There are great spots over there, and we need more services so we can accommodate more tourists there.
Well, also, Mr. Ziad, in your point of view, how could we promote for Egypt abroad?
Well, we promote for Egypt by really capturing the essence of what this country can provide. It's not enough to talk about the pyramids. Everybody knows the pyramids. But people now are more interested in culinary tourism. They want to know what they will eat. Some neighboring countries, again, they have claimed that falafel is their own. Some other countries have claimed that the kushari is their own. Now, we need to tell the people, we have a great history with our food, how our cuisine was affected by interaction with all the civilizations of the world for thousands of years. This is part. Agro-tourism. We have great farms and great nature. There is a rising trend of requests we are receiving interested in agro-tourism. They want to go to a local farm, have local food, meet the locals over there, see how we cultivate our lands, how we raise our cattle, and so on and so forth. So we need to analyze the new trends in the world, make a good solid base for them in here. We'll always get the tourist who must see the pyramids and the Sphinx, and of course the same for Luxor and Aswan. But this country has so much to offer, so we have to know what the trends are, analyze it, and serve the need for the clients who are requesting it.
Well, you mentioned a very important point, and also I would like to ask you, how do you see the role of Egyptians when it comes to reviving tourism?
Well, first by knowing how important the industry is for the country. It's not the matter of only, like we mentioned earlier, the money coming directly to your pocket. It is saving our economy. We are in hard times, and if we cannot, all of us, take part, contribute to this position, if being kind to tourists, being helpful, if learning more languages, if doing any job better, like if you are working in service in a hotel, you do not judge a tourist by his look. May you say that maybe he looks young and he would not be really interested in how we properly serve his meal. And we only do that if someone is older or in a suit, not in shorts. This kind of understanding of how important it is, respecting their culture, asking them respectfully to respect our own culture, not doing anything that would make Egyptians look bad. If all of us, when you meet a foreigner in the street, think that you are now, right in this moment, an ambassador of Egypt, everything you would do or say will reflect with that tourist. This is Egypt, this is the real one. We used to be known for how welcoming and smiling and warm and generous we are. And after some time you start finding some problems, some books and magazines mentioning harassment and so on and so forth. These are weapons used by our enemies against us. We should not allow that. So really, it needs a common understanding for all Egyptians that this is Egypt's first priority. This is project number one, and it's very important.
Well, Mr. Ziad, a short break, and then we will be back. Dear viewers, a short break, and then we will resume our discussion. Welcome back, our dear viewers, and still with Mr. Ziad Ali. Well, Mr. Ziad, how can we diversify tourism sources and not to rely on a certain source or certain market?
It's a very good question, and it's a very important one, because we have been relying on certain segments, not markets and segments. Like you go for beach, what we call inbound leisure tourism, beach tourism, for very long with very low prices. When something happened, like when we had the unfortunate case of the plane crash, we have suffered very bad in the cities of Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada, that our occupation went from 90-something% up to 10%, and lots of employees are laid off. This in terms of the segment, so we do not rely on only beach or on only culture. Another one is countries, like we have mentioned, or what we're witnessing right now when the turbulence started in the region. Some of the long distance travelers, especially coming from North America and Latin America, which we are somehow a trend for Latin American travelers right now, they have stopped coming because they have what we call a combined program, a program that would include Egypt, because it's very far, they want to visit as much as they can when they travel. So it used to include Egypt, Jordan, and Jerusalem, Bethlehem in Palestine. With all the turbulence happening there, they stopped coming. So you need to have other markets, which is happening right now. Like we have a magnificent rise in South African tourists coming to Egypt, which is very good. That wasn't the case. Relying on the Arab markets, not only in the summer, not the classical tourism coming from GCC countries. They are brothers and they are as Egyptians as we are, but getting more like younger travelers who might be interested in other activities than just staying in Cairo or going to shopping malls and such. Another thing which is very important, we need to reinvest very strongly at our national carrier, because you have destinations with great potential. We can easily mention China, Japan. Why aren't we having enough tourists from China and Japan? One big part of the problem is not having direct flights from Cairo to Tokyo or from Cairo to Beijing, as an example. Investing in our national carrier having more stronger affiliations for our national carrier, having the stronger affiliations with other carriers in the code-sharing system of the flying, having a chance to have 3 or 4 direct flights a week coming from Far East would definitely add bigger numbers and lots of tourists coming. Like we mentioned earlier, we need to enhance our food and beverage experience, because really food and beverage is very important. And you have noticed that when you travel anywhere, domestically or internationally, you really always appreciate the fact that you go and check online, what are the best restaurants in this city I'm going to visit. You ask people who have traveled to this destination before you, and you ask them, what are the best restaurants where I can have a good meal, what's the best of the local cuisine can offer. So many things can be done in this aspect to enhance our potential.
Also, how do you see the efforts exerted by the state in order to develop this significant sector? The initiatives also carried out by the state in
some of the initiatives are very good, but I think we need to give more free hand to the private sector. Like, I'll give you a simple example for that. We have great deserts. Of course, we had concerns at certain times of turbulence that maybe there was the concern of terrorism or not being able of safeguarding them, but now we're much safer. We do not have such issues. We need to reopen our deserts for visits. The state cannot do that by itself, but encouraging the locals in the oasis of Siwa, Bahariya, Dakhla, Kharga, Farafra, encouraging them to make investments, local investments, small hotels, buying small fleets, 4 or 5 4x4 SUVs, and having the authorities, of course, allowing this to happen. So we encourage this segment. I do believe that the state needs to go into more of the micro encouragement, going to smaller entities, not big businessmen, not huge investors. They're very important in their part, but smaller ones, the smaller investors, the locals. Good part of the tourism now is very interested in an authentic local experience. A lot of people, they can afford to go to 5-star hotels, but if you give them an option of what we used to call in Egypt long time ago a pension, a small apartment with 6 or 7 rooms in downtown, clean and neat and tidy, offering a good authentic hygiene, local breakfast, and then they go to the museum and other attractions. We need to encourage this level of investment.
Well, Mr. Ziad Ali, tourism marketing expert, I would like to thank you so much. Our time has come to an end, unfortunately.
Yes.
Thank you so much
for
coming and for your insight. And dear viewers, by that we come to the end of this edition of Windows. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more on Nile TV International.